So, I mean, we are in a context where obviously the year we've been through and the year we are actually getting through is quite unusual from a business perspective and from a COVID perspective. But we will be very interested to get more details about how you faced actually this challenge and in the last 12, 18 months. And how have you been communicating, what is important to you, what is your purpose, your vision, your value to your team? What is the same or different from pre-COVID typically?
I mean, there are many challenges in situations like that. I mean, the good news on the business side, being a pure online player, of course, we were privileged. We did not have the challenges that some other businesses have. But I think the important thing in these things is that you clearly tell what you know and what you don't know. So when we started kind of crisis management back in March and April, we did not go out there to our team and say, look, we know exactly what will happen. We clearly stated we are basing all of that on the information we get. The first priority is to protect you, to protect the business, to protect our customers, and we will do as we learn. And I think there is no other way. Claiming that you know exactly how this crisis will unfold, you should and could not do. On the other hand, we also clearly stated that the crisis is not changing our strategy, is not changing our purpose, is not changing our values, because also you need to give confidence, security in moments of crisis. And while tactics constantly have to change, you need to send a very strong message that we are pursuing exactly what we've done before. We are number one here for our customers. We're number two here for our brand partners. And the journey may change in terms of how it unfolds, what is the clear itinerary, but the end, the actual sort of goal of the journey is not changing. And that is exactly what happened. I mean, we quickly introduced safety measures. We quickly decided to move everyone that is possible to work from home to home office. We really ran protection and measurements in our warehouse because obviously that needed to continue to operate. And then we continuously updated the people as we were updated by government regulations, by travel regulations, by health and safety regulations. And we were quite transparent. There may be changes coming every week because we are also learning and our government is learning.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned something interesting, thing that you did not change the strategy, actually. The strategy, I can understand the vision, the destination, actually, the plan. A lot of retailers actually has accelerated, significantly some major change in their organization and the strategy itself. So I think your model is probably different, as a pure player today, and you were probably prepared and in advance on what should be the next generation of retail, let's say.
Well, number one, you're absolutely right. As a online digital platform, we were kind of, prepared is the wrong word, but we were in a better position for what was unfolding. But to be very clear, our strategy is not defined as we want to be an e-tailer. This is the business model. Our strategy is defined to serve customers. Our strategy is defined to be the best partner for our brands. We have clearly laid out customer, brand partners, teams, the mobile world, the constant upgrade of infrastructure, and going global. This is our strategy, and we keep it high level because my fundamental belief is you need to quote you, you need to know your destination. You need to know where you want to go. That is strategy. I don't believe in planning. I don't believe in a 5-year detailed plan. In today's world, this is not worth it. You need to know exactly where you want to go. You need to clearly communicate it to everybody. You need to have enthusiasm and consensus. Okay, we all want to go in that direction. And then you quickly are short-term focused. What are we doing next month? What are we doing in the next 6 months? Because that's where agility is needed. And so no rigid planning, but don't be agile on your strategy. Your destination should not change because that's confusing people. That is creating insecurity. We know where we want to go, and we will adapt on the way to make sure we arrive in the best shape at the earliest time.
Mm-hmm. So I think as a leader, as a CEO, the impact on your organization and your team is huge. How did you get the people aligned on, this vision and this strategy? How did you get energy from them and reassuring on the fact that you're on the right way?
I think the right word you use is energy. I think this is a big challenge if so many people are working dispersed, are working at their home, at the mobile office, wherever. I think in terms of alignment on the strategy, that was in place. And I mean, this was hopefully quite well already before the crisis. I think the big challenge in a situation like that is how do you maintain energy, enthusiasm, dedication, commitment, because it is stressful. It is emotionally stressful. I mean, to be at home 1 to 2 days, wow, I love it. To be home 5 days, 4 weeks, not seeing your colleagues, and also understanding, of course, we have a lot of young employees, people that have just started, people that have small apartments. I mean, it's not easy to work from home. And not only were they supposed to work from home, but there was even more emotional stress. They were not allowed to meet friends. They were not allowed to go out. I think mental health was and is one of the biggest challenges in this. And so we don't have a solution for that, but we are aware of it. And so we are trying to reach out. We have sent multiple times gifts to the home of all employees. We send a first gift. Every employee, all 700, got a gift last year in summer. We sent a Christmas gift out to everyone. It's just reaching and touching, and then people posted their gifts on our internal community platform, and we did many of those things, which again, they're not real solutions for the problems. That we are humans. We love personal interaction. We love to meet, discuss, and not only were our employees deprived of that in terms of work environment, but also private environment, social environment. A lot of our people are young. They don't have a partner. They don't have children, so they are alone at home and missing going out and missing friends. And that's a big challenge, a big concern. And this has been going on in some form or other for the last 12 months. So huge challenge and no easy solution.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything you would do differently from now, thanks to this period of time, from a people perspective, I would say?
I mean, with the information I have now, yes. With the information we had when we started, no. I mean, you're always smarter afterwards. So, I mean, if you're not smarter afterwards, then you obviously didn't learn. That would be very bad. No, I think in most of these things, there are some simple learnings. We should have reacted faster to some of those. The interesting part about this pandemic is we are a global company. We were aware of what was going on in Asia, in China, in Korea, and we still did not fully realize what this would mean when it comes to Europe. And so this was kind of a blind spot. I mean, we knew, we saw it, and we have clients in Asia, we saw it on TV, and still mentally it was very challenging to connect the dots. I mean, okay, if this comes to Europe, what will that mean? And we only really saw when it was, and unfortunately it did hit places like Bergamo and northern Italy and Spain very, very hard. And in both areas we have had offices. And then only then you realized, oh my God, this is tragic. This goes beyond a business problem. This is a human tragedy. And so you always have to push yourself to, I mean, I think risk management is fantastic, but it tends to be about risks you are aware of. And the big problem about risk management is what you're not aware of. and I think you need always to have that in your back of your mind. The biggest question about all of this is, okay, guys, what don't we know? What don't we know right now? And that's a learning, and that's something you should always remind yourself, however smart you think you are.
I think, well, I really like this mindset, I have to say. Thank you for that, Michael. But I was thinking you are also at the great place where being one of the most advanced platform and, you know, interacting with all those brands, you probably get also a good vision of how the brands themselves, you know, reacted against, you know, during this period of time, and what have been your role in reassuring them, in getting, you know, building relationship in a different way with them too, you know, with your interaction with the brands?
No, I think in relationships, be it customer relationships, be it brand partner relationships, there is one currency, which is reliability. You need to remain reliable. And we were all facing the same thing. So reassuring that to the customers, we are here and we will continue to be here for you, and we will try to maintain operations. Luckily, we were able to do that continuously. And also vis-a-vis our brands, we clearly communicated, no, we will stay on course. This is not, okay, this season we drastically change. No, we stay on course. We fundamentally believe that our business is right. We know our customers like what we do. And so a crisis is, again, you should quickly adapt your tactics, your daily doings, but don't quickly adapt your fundamentals, your principles. This is where stability and reliability in any industry, but also particularly in our industry, is very important. And we reached out to all our partners, but also all our partners reached out to us to understand how are we doing, how are we dealing with this, and reassure that, I mean, in the end, we are in this together anyway. I mean, there's no single player can save themselves and not the rest. This is a global pandemic hitting everyone to various degrees. I mean, I fully admit that being an online retailer was a privileged situation because we were better prepared for this. We were more in line with what customers were wishing. But still, it's all in this together, and that's an important, I believe, important quality in business. Business is tough. We are competing against each other. We are negotiating hard. All of that, but I think reliability and reassurance is, for the long term, is important.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, let's speak about inspiration and, you know, innovation, maybe, as many organizations and leaders have found new source of inspiration and innovation during this period of time. how did you experience that, and how your team experienced that?
I mean, again, on one side, as I explained before, missing the human interactions, missing the brainstormings together in the same room. I mean, there is a challenge to innovation because that's how you normally innovate. But on the other hand, it is interesting, and it was interesting to learn how you can use some of these circumstances to become innovative. So, for example, we were always struggling to interact with customers about innovation because our customers are very busy. And so organizing a customer focus group was always a nightmare because people are very hard to get. We serve very successful professionals. We had more customer focus groups than ever because everyone was at home, and we organized it via Zoom. We had Zoom interviews with customers, and to some degree they were even they were not happy about another Zoom, but it was a diversion. It was something else. So over the last 12 months, we had more customer feedback and more interaction with customers than I can recall before. And we used that to our advantage and to discuss with customers. I mean, we had in the US, in China, and Europe, we had 1 hour discussions with individual customers. They loved it. They loved it. We did last Christmas, we did a Christmas carol for children via Zoom. We had a Santa Claus on Zoom inviting children to attend. And is it as good as the real thing? No, but it shows what you can do, and you can push the envelope, and sometimes even new doors open up. And in the end, again, we were, of course, better prepared. All our workplaces were able to go remote. We are operating across multiple locations anyway, so our teams are used to organize via Zoom, via Slack, or whatever means to get conversations going. But for me, biggest inspiration is always coming from customers, because again, our customers are professionals. I mean, our customers are running businesses themselves, are managers themselves. So they are also exactly doing the same thing that we do as managers, as business owners. And so we have amazing customers, and that's a big source of inspiration for me personally.
That's great. Great to hear. Maybe a more, let's say, personal question on your leadership. How this period of time has impacted your way you are leading people, thinking, embracing, let's say, your responsibilities?
I mean, in one way, I feel inhibited because part of my leadership style is the personal interaction, reaching out to people, going to people, visiting with business partners. I mean, a lot of that is what I like to do and what seems to work for me. So that part was horribly limited, and I really miss that because, again, I cherish the personal interaction. And so the risk is you become even more factual, transactional, because everything is even more focused on efficiency in a Zoom meeting than in a personal meeting. And I think at minimum you need to be aware of this. I mean, that this is a risk in how you manage, how you interact, and you need to be careful that it's so efficient to organize 10 Zoom conferences after each other and get everything done. I think this is the biggest risk as managers, because already it's a busy schedule. You're trying to resolve so many things in a single day. So already you are focused on getting things done a lot. And with this situation, there's a risk of it even being more efficiency driven, hopping on, hopping off. And there's also a risk that people in digital meetings are actually they are not with you. They're doing something else. they're doing something on the side. So again, I think the challenge is how to grab people emotionally, and it's the most important thing is that you are aware that this is a challenge, and we are doing monthly all hands, and they used to be in person. So we had a big hall and all the employees were in there. And then I think with this 1 hour, you could, of course, really reach out to all employees in a way that you can't do with a televised Zoom. You just cannot. I mean, you don't have the audience reaction. You don't know where suddenly the room is silent, or where there's giggling in the room, or where there's enthusiasm in the room. And that's part of management. That's part of management to really feel how is the organization doing. And so you need to ask. You need to ask explicitly, how are you doing? Because you don't sense it anymore via Zoom. And these are, again, coming always back to this. You need to be aware that you're missing some sensors. You're really missing some sensors with only digital interactions. You cannot solve for it, but if you are aware of it, you can at least mitigate it.
Maybe a last question regarding your team, Michael. How would you evaluate the journey they have done in terms of evolving and improving themselves? You know, I think this period showed like a very a strong polarization on many fronts, and also from a people and perspective. Did this period of time give you clarity on how people reveal themselves?
I mean, this was a crazy period for us, to be honest, because we not only had to deal with the pandemic, but interestingly enough, this was exactly when we also IPO'd the company. So we had a double whammy of stress, and I think this goes back to very basic lean management thinking. I mean, this is in Japanese logic of understanding whether your business is solid, your processes are solid. The logic is you put them under stress, and then you see where systems break, and then you can improve them. And so the understanding of what the Japanese call muda, you only discover them when you put the system under stress. And I mean, this was not desired, but it happened. And I can only say I'm super proud of our teams and of our leadership team. We did an amazing job putting off an IPO, putting in good numbers, having good employee satisfaction scores, having good customer satisfaction scores. All of that we measure and enables us some sensors. I'm very proud and very happy what I saw over the last 12 months, to be honest.
Well, this is fantastic to hear, and thank you very much for sharing, your experience, your personal experience, and also as a leader today. This is actually, a very special moment, and my Teresa is definitely one of the best place to be, presumably, today, considering the context. So thank you very much for sharing all this experience with us, Michael.